Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today, and welcome to our third SoapCon Live panel right here in the locker room. I'm Alan Locker. SoapCon Live is the first Comic-Con for soaps. And remember, please visit soapconlive.com for the full schedule and to purchase virtual meet and greets, autographs, and video messages from everyone you see here with me today. And don't forget to stay tuned for the next panel, the General Hospital panel, coming up right after this. One Life to Live made its TV debut on July 15th, 1968, and aired for more than 43 years until January 13th, 2012. And then it went onto the internet with Prospect Park in 2013. We all know that the show was created by legendary writer and producer Agnes Nixon. One Life to Live began as a 30-minute show and was expanded to 45 minutes in 1976 and then to an hour in 1978. The Cramer family centers on the dynamic relationships of the long-running character, Dr. Dorian Crane, who made her debut on the series in April of 1973 and was most famously played by the one and only Robin Strasser. Kristen Alderson joined the cast as Star Manning at 6 years old in March of 1998. Laura Bonarrigo took over the role of Kassie in 1991, and Kassie DePaiva joined the cast as Blair in 1993. And Gina Tognoni made her soap debut as Kelly Cramer in 1995. It is my pleasure to welcome these ladies right here to SoapCon Live. Kristen Alderson, Laura Bonarrigo. To see you all, and I'll say it again. We know fans are so excited to see you today. They've been talking about getting the Cramer women together in the locker room for a long, long time. Yeah. When was the last time you four were together?
In the same room.
Oh, in the same room? I don't know. You on YouTube. I mean, 90s, early 2000. I mean, that around because we had, for Laura to be there in the same room. I think that I've seen Kassie quite a bit through the years, Kristen, but the four of us,
we did the photo that you show with Robin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. That might actually, be the last one. Or it wasn't some interview we did, but I remember that show.
So what do you think it is about the Cramer women that generates this excitement? If you could put your finger on it, what would you say it is?
Well, I think it's because Dorian was the cog in the wheel. She manipulated this family, and I watch old YouTube clips, and I am so snarky and so hateful to poor old Kelly that I think, oh my gosh! But then if something bad happens, I'll pull together because we're family, because that's what Dorian would want me to do. So, Kassie was always such a good person that Blair always really felt like a shit.
There you go.
And poor old Star, she just, the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree.
and you were particularly very mean to me. Very mean to Kelly.
Oh, terrible.
Kelly just couldn't catch a break. She was so nice. She just, she tried, and she just kept kind of tripping over herself a bit. But, actually, I think Kelly was one of the nicest characters I ever played. I got kind of snarky up, like with Dinah and
Dinah was not a nice. Dinah was not a nice gal.
No, but so I think Kelly to me was like the lightest soap character I ever played.
I think Blair was just jealous of Kelly because she was younger and prettier and could do, could get all the guys.
Right. Right before this, I was just watching a YouTube clip of Kassie and Gina and like Blair and Kelly fighting and being snarky, and I sent it to Kassie, and it's so good. I have to send it to you guys.
And she just sent it to me. I'm going to watch it after.
Oh, it's great.
Kassie, did you know when you auditioned for Blair that she was going to be that mean?
No, I did not know that she was mean, and I didn't know that she was American Asian. I didn't know a lot. I did not know a lot. All I knew is that I had watched One Life to Live growing up, and I knew that there was a character Kassie on it. So I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm destined to be on the show. And so my first roommate was
Oh,
Laura.
right.
We were roommates. We were dressing roommates. It was great.
In a dressing room that size.
Yeah.
Yeah, New York City dressing room.
Smaller than that.
All I remember, Kassie, is you rocking in the rocking chair. Now I have two.
Yes,
Always. And I think of you every time I get in my rocking chairs. I'm like, keep moving. She was always
Laura Bonarrigo, same exact connection.
Do you have a love of rocking chairs, Kassie DePaiva?
Yes, actually, it's kind of probably an addiction. And I was visiting my parents at home, and my mother said, well, you know, I never had to worry about you when you were a little kid, because I had one of those rocking horses, and I would put a pillow on the head and I'd rock myself to sleep. I mean, from 2 on. So if they had one probably an adult size, it would be over here in the living room.
For sure.
Depending on how many, we had more lines. If it was like a busy day, it was
It was going.
all the time.
Rocking and kicking my leg.
I remember just staring at you one day and saying, now, Kassie, why do you rock so much? And Kassie, this is how I process.
This is how
It used to make Robin crazy.
Wait. So did you have one at Guiding Light too?
I'm sure you did.
Oh, I probably did. I had to listen. When I was sick in the hospital, my son walked my little rocking chair 2 miles across Manhattan through the park and put it in the hospital room for me.
My
Awesome.
That's beautiful.
Awesome.
You raised a good one there.
Yeah, I did. He's a good egg.
Cass, G, what do you remember about auditioning for Kelly? This is your first daytime.
Yep. Nathan Fillion. With him. I just remember him being so tall and so beautiful, but just warm, and thinking, if I can just focus on this guy for the next 5 minutes, everything's going to be all right. And just trust. And I did. And I remember the cameraman. I remember Alan Needleman. Just these specifics. I remember the set being so warm and kind. And I remember walking away saying, well, if I don't get this job, that was the loveliest screen test I have ever. The loveliest. And I got the job, and I was thrilled. It was my first big job first real job that was significant. And I was thrilled.
That's amazing.
And then that was my first family. How I learned how to even do soap opera was One Life to Live. It absolutely was my foundation.
That you took it to every other role.
Yes.
Yeah.
Best training ground ever.
Yeah. Nathan's a hottie. Kristen, 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Do you even remember like getting there for the first time, or what you had to do to get the role?
I do. I remember I had my hair up for the audition, and they asked me to put my hair down. And I mean, that's very specific, but I remember thinking, I'm gonna have a bump in my hair now. Like, what? I let down, but they recognized me because I was Molly and Annie on Broadway, and they had seen the show, the casting director. So thank God. I think that's kind of what got me the role, was that they saw me kind of be snarky little Molly, and being mischievous. And so, yeah, that helped. And then my first day on set, I just remember it being huge, like just the biggest set ever to me.
Well, I would think to a 6-year-old that castle would look like, One Life to Live taped in a castle.
Yeah.
And for you, Laura, what do you remember?
Well, I screen tested with Bob Woods. And that was because I was originally paired with Bob Woods in the Sarah story.
And I know Bob is known for his, comedy and prankster. Was he a prankster in that? Do you remember?
I don't think during the screen test. I think during the screen test it was more subdued because he didn't know me, right? And even though for me I'd been on Another World for a few months, this was a big test for me as well, like Gina's. And I remember really thinking about kind of had vague recollections of the whole space, like hair and makeup, and then being walked upstairs. And it's a huge sound stage your first time there. So that was really like, and then just staying very focused on what I needed to do, and Bob, and connecting with him. I remember really connecting with him. That was the most important part for me. As Gina said, staring at Nathan, I was staring at Bob.
Yeah. You were so
I have to connect with him. That was the whole point of it.
That's a handsome man to stare at. I love one of our fans, Rob Berger, said Cramer women were my favorite family.
Yay.
Well, but one of you said earlier, and it might have been Gina, it might have been Kassie, trust. Talk about trust. You all work together, scene after scene. You work with different men. I think, it might have been you, Gina, saying with Nathan, trust. What does trust mean as an actor?
Everything.
Everything. You are working on the fly. It's not only are you working on these scenes that you've just digested, for some the day of or the night before, and you are selling this wonderful story and breathing life into it. And you have lines, and those lines are cues for your partner. And that's exactly who that other person is. It's not an actor as much as it is your partner. And you're in it together. And you are producing a show together. You all are doing it. So if I mess up, we kind of all mess up. We all have to start over again. And that's a tremendous amount of pressure over a period of time. And we know what it takes to do good work. And we all did it. And it is amazing. We were with each other every moment. Every moment we were brilliant, and every moment we weren't brilliant or messed up. And we can feel it. You are so close and connected to these women or scene partners, and it's so brilliant and beautiful, and something you never forget. Just something you never forget. So the trust, but it comes from trust, and it comes from listening and staring into this other person's eyes. And saying, God, I hope you remember your line. And I'm so glad I just remembered mine.
There's so many. I remember, doing a scene with Kassie where I had to tell her that my baby had died. And I mean, it's a very deep emotional scene. And she just held my hands in her hands. And she was looking at me so deep into my eyes. And she was just going like, okay, tell me what happened. And I just there's nothing else that exists in the world except for that partner that you're in that moment with. And she just had my back, and she was helping me through that emotion. And she was like, it was almost, you could see Kassie, but she was also Blair. She was like, you got this. You got this.
I know that you in training and education for acting, you might learn that, but is there a moment that you actually realized where you knew that trust was the be end and all of is there some moment?
Trusting yourself first and foremost. It's that process of trusting yourself with the material, and that partner you trust that they will bring that very thing that brings out something very special in you. It's such a chemistry. Right. I would be a different person when I was acting with Blair and Laura on screen.
Yeah.
I think we lost it. Go ahead, Cass.
I feel like, we listened to each other.
Right.
It takes good listening, I think, to be a pretty good actor, because you're not just acting, you're reacting. And watching old clips and stuff, we would talk over each other, and not that it wasn't scripted, but it almost seemed like we were ad-libbing a lot.
Yeah.
And we really weren't. There was such a connection that, after, 2 or 3 episodes, you kind of get into the other character's energy. So when you're learning your lines, you can understand that. So, I'm sure Laura and Gina and Kristen all know, well, Blair is going to be a bitch here. So I guess I better be ready for that, so you kind of prepare yourself.
Right.
But you never know what's going to happen on the fly. And we really did work on the fly. But I think our genuine respect and love for each other as actors also it was translated into our characters. I mean, I just adored the Cramer clan. You know, whether we were in Dorian's kitchen, you know, bitching and moaning, or whether we were dressed up, or somebody, you know, was having a miscarriage, or whatever it was. It was there wasn't a wasted moment with the Cramer women, and it was written very, very well.
Yes, it was.
It was written well. I think that the trust also came as you don't always know in the moment. You know, in the moment, you don't know when you're going on to set, like what's going to happen today. And so you're discovering it together, and you're working it every scene. Boom, next scene. And then you leave the sound stage and you go, wow.
Yeah.
Or you, like, when we cut it, we would be able to say, we did it, right? Like, we did it. But I will also say that there wasn't a lot of time to gloat or celebrate.
Right.
There was always more work to be done.
Yeah.
So,
You had to go home and learn the next day.
we got home. So we were all like, great. See you tomorrow. Like, or see you next week, or whatever our story was.
You have to let that chip go of that today's show and put the new chip in.
Right.
Alan Robin would always say, we'd be in the kitchen, you know, in Dorian's set, and we would do our dress rehearsal, and then she would go, okay, girls, we've got to Cramerize this now.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Energy going, and we would kind of go, oh my God. And I used to hate it. And they would go, when she would say, we're Cramer girls, Kassie would go, oh my God, do we really have to shove this down everybody's throat? We say it every episode, you know.
Right.
Look at it. You know, it's like,
look where we are, you know, look where we are. It worked. Well, let's speak of, the cog in the wheel. Each of you must have a different relationship with Robin. Can you just all talk about Robin in your life and working opposite her? Kristen, why don't you start?
Oh my gosh. Well, from the very beginning, she taught me so much, and she's just, you learn so much when working with her. And so to be able to work with her from such a young age was so amazing. But even off camera, she was just, she's so nurturing. She'll give you the shirt off her back. She's so giving in that way. And we've stayed in close contact. So actually my favorite moments with her have been after the show. While we were still on the show, she and I would go see a movie together every once in a while, which was so much fun. And then I did an off-Broadway show in New York and stayed over at her house every Wednesday night for, a year. And we would call each other roomies. And I would get in late from the show, and she'd go, "Okay, just put a hat on the knob." And when she wanted to wake me up early in the morning, she would sing at the top of her lungs to get me to wake up. She's still very Dorian, even Robin. There are definitely Cramer women moments beyond the show, but we're still so incredibly close to this day. I talk to her all the time. And she actually lives close to me now. And I drove her from Pennsylvania to New York to get her COVID shot. So that's how close we are.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
Laura?
Oh, gosh. I knew you were going to call on me. Robin, I loved working with Robin, but true to Kassie Dorian relationship, it was always like this love-hate thing. It always was. There was this part of me that absolutely adored her, and there was this part of me that just was like, you were driving me utterly crazy. I'm just being honest. And we were in the same neighborhood on the Upper East Side for quite some time. So I was in her home. She knew my kids. And then we both lived, I have a condo in New York, and we were in the same building for a long time. So I would see her all the time in the same building.
Was that coincidence?
It was coincidence.
Wow.
So, and then I would know her as Robin, and I would know her as Dorian.
Right.
And there was always, she would be in my home, she'd be giving me advice, and then I'd be in her apartment, she'd be giving me advice. I just remembered all sorts of she's driving me crazy. I adore her. She's driving me crazy. I adore her. It's such a mother-daughter relationship. Yeah. It was so mother-daughter.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I love that. Gina?
Well, Robin Strasser is one of a kind. One of a kind. Broke the mold. First of all, professionally, the very thing that she taught me was this. She said, when you take on a role, put your fingerprints all over it. And that I absolutely have taken to heart. I have done that, hopefully, in everything I've done. And, I've done a lot of, not a lot, but recasts. So when I would take on the recast, I would, obviously pay attention to what was there, but go ahead and forge ahead and put my stamp on it. And I think it was some of the best advice I've ever been given. Personally, I wish we were in more contact. So I make a vow that I will make more contact with her because I miss her presence. I do miss her. And I wish that we could hang out a little bit more. But, now things are opening up a bit. Maybe in New York.
And she's vaccinated, thanks to Kristen.
And now she's vaccinated. We really hang out with her. No,
Kassie,
but
I think in our first One Life show, I think this came up, but somebody, and it might have been another show, but somebody talked about Robin and like you talk about being in her kitchen, but she was so particular, like about, maybe even Kristen told me that, about the napkins in the kitchen, that Dorian wouldn't have the, like green per se, like she knew what Dorian would have as her props in her kitchen.
She was very thorough with her character. She knew it inside and out. She had, La Boulée was La Boulée, and that was all. She was amazing as Dorian. She's an amazing, one of the smartest women I have ever met. One of the most generous.
Yeah.
I wish that she were a part of this discussion because she'd be sitting there going, oh, stop it. She'd hate it. Listen, I put on makeup today because I thought maybe she was going to be on this. And I thought, she's going to give me such shit if I don't have to present myself. I blew my hair dry. I put on a kind of a shiny shirt. Otherwise, I've got my flannel shirt right here.
Oh my God, that is genius.
Oh,
Kassie,
you and Robin have stayed so close too.
Oh yeah,
again?
I've been very, very close, and she was by my bedside when I had leukemia. Amazing, and it'll make me cry right now. She was unbelievable, and I will never ever forget it.
Well, fans are asking, how are you holding up? How you doing? Feeling?
Well, I'm just getting old.
You look gorgeous. Stop it.
I'm good. I'm healthy. I'll be hitting my 5-year remission mark in July from leukemia. So praise God.
Bravo.
Oh my
Bravo.
wow.
That is wonderful news. Did any of you attend Super Soap? Kassie, you did, right?
Yeah, I attended.
What was that like? Since we're talking about, SoapCon today and doing SoapCon, what were those experiences like?
It was so,
oh my gosh.
Super Soap was Disney's. They flew all the soap people.
Amazing.
ABC shows.
Amazing experience, right, Cass?
It was really, really wonderful. I would say there's probably 10,000 plus fans there.
Wow.
Yeah.
In one park. And we would, it would start from 9 o'clock in the morning and end at 1 o'clock in the morning after we had put on a big show, a concert right there at the in the middle of the park and with fireworks and everything. It was really amazing, one-on-one, wonderful fan event that, I don't know what happened to ABC. I think they lost their mind when they canceled One Life to Live and All My Children. And
I think the fans would absolutely sign on to that and agree.
Daytime lineup on television. The strongest daytime lineup.
Super Soap Weekend was their #1 seller. So they had that and their Star Wars weekend were when the only times that the park was completely sold out for the weekend. So they made so much money off of that. And it was from the beginning, you would have an autograph thing, then an interview, then another autograph. And like Kassie said, the concert at night, it was just so great to be so connected to the fans and in a vacation setting. And it was my favorite thing ever.
Yeah. It was so special to even be invited. It was just great.
Yeah.
Gina Freeman said Kelly had a sense of humor, and Dinah and Phyllis not so much. Loved Kelly with David in particular. Hilarious.
Remember David Vickers.
Yes.
Tuck.
God, Tuck Watkins. Just
funny. He is funny.
A funny man.
Gina, you are very, very comedic. You are really, you were great with Jimmy too. You and Jimmy were funny together.
Jimmy is a funny man.
Well, you're a funny lady.
Thank you. In fact, Laura and I share a common friend, Penny Templeton, who we adore. She is a teacher in New York and everywhere, but she said the same thing. She said Kelly was so funny, and she goes, well, let's dive more into that. And I said, yeah, I think so. I need to be lighter these days. I need to laugh more. You know, she was kind of dingy, Kelly.
I remember her being so silly. That's what I remember about you playing that role, was this, like, you were so young.
Yeah, it was.
So young. And I remember thinking of you as so young, and also as Kelly's so young, right?
Yeah.
It was adorable.
The clip that Kassie and that Kristen sent Kassie, because Kassie just sent it to me. You look so young, I could see. I don't know what year that is, but that I just watched 30 seconds of it before we went live.
Yeah. So good. And the writing was great on One Life to Live. I don't know what it was. You know, the New York soaps had such just powerhouse actors. And I just felt there was such a different vibe, and in a way that it was tangible, you know, whether it was, you know, maybe the drama sometimes during the day. I felt like when I was watching it, like it had a little bit more grit to it. And I loved it.
I think in daytime in New York, you have talented actors on every soap, but you're also in that cast surrounded by so much theater people, so many theater actors that it just made it, you know, everybody on every show in New York, just it was something special and something special in New York.
All the day players that would come in, or the guest stars. Remember working with Marion Seldes?
Right.
She was our grandmother. She was the grande dame of New York theater.
I know. What about Cherry Jones? Remember Cherry Jones was on the show?
Yes. And
Cherry Jones?
Cherry, yeah.
Oh, get out. I love her.
I can remember the character. Well,
Cherry Jones, my God, she is a powerhouse.
Who else we have? We had Michael Bublé, but as Michael Bublé. Who else? We had who married Bo and Nora?
Oh, Little Richard.
Thank you.
Little Richard, yeah.
Yeah, they did some great things with
Didn't they have
musical guests?
music and everything.
You had some great casting. And then you had the live week.
Oh my God. And Kassie was Kassie. Oh my God.
Well, our fan Freeman just said Kassie should have won an Emmy for those performances.
Yeah, she should have.
100%.
I didn't even get nominated. No.
You did? You didn't?
Were you all frightened?
I had what you call fear stink on. I was so nervous I would be sweating and be like, I'm beginning to stink.
Fear stink.
I remember just having to rehearse a lot. I was pretty young. I was probably like only 11 or 12 when it happened. And they had so many scenes with me and Ty Treadway. And we had so much dialogue. So he came over to our apartment the night before just to run all the dialogue, because it was scary. Had to be live. Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure for an 11-year-old. I mean, I think it's a lot for a 30-year-old, but I mean, my God.
But I just remember they had a cover on the magazine of, I forget, Soap Opera Digest, one of the magazines, and it was for Live Week, and they asked me to be on the cover with everyone. And I remember standing there posing like, yeah, like Live Week, let's do it. Like I was up for the challenge. I was very excited.
Remember, and someone said Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg was on the show.
Yes.
I don't think John over there, but
yeah. Kristen, what was it like having Kassie and Roger as parents?
Oh my gosh.
oh my God.
What'd you say, Kassie?
That's crazy.
No. Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, Kassie is like a second mother to me, and she's the most warm individual you could ever meet. And we just had a bond instantly, and it's never gone away. I mean, there could be so much time in between Kassie and I seeing each other, and you pick up the phone or FaceTime and it's like no time has passed. I used to sleep over her house all the time. I used to, just talk to her. Actually, when I was deciding whether or not to move home back to Philly and I was living out in LA, I went over to Cassie's house, hysterical, crying, going, "What do I do? How do I do this?" And
I said, "Book a plane ticket right now. You need to go home."
Yep.
You did.
Yep. And I did. I listened to her. I said, "What do I do?" She goes, "You're going home tomorrow." I said, "Tomorrow?" She goes, "Tomorrow." Tomorrow. Yep. She's awesome. She's the best. And
Right.
And Roger was very intimidating. Like he was taught. I think the reason that we had such great chemistry was because I was intimidated by him, and it it worked that way.
Sadly, I think not in a bad way. I think that's just Roger. A lot of people feel that, right?
He's so professional. Like Cassie and I had such a relationship outside of work, and Roger is a very professional man, and we have such a great he's so great to work with professionally. But yeah, I think because I was a little nervous sometimes going in and I wanted to be on my A game. I think that with Todd and Star, Todd wasn't very affectionate to Star, but yet he loved her so much, and you could tell. And I think it just all worked, and that's why it was so kind of magic, their relationship.
That's great.
And we're going to go to fan questions momentarily, but Cassie, what is it like? Do you remember when you met Jimmy for the first time?
Ooh.
I certainly do. It's a secret. I was supposed to screen test with Max, but Jimmy was on vacation, so I screen tested with John Loprino. So I had met Jimmy the first time, was not on the set of One Life to Live. I was singing at a club, the Whaler Bar in New York City, and his brother on the show was singing with me. And this story was kind of crazy, but a record label had come to hear me sing. And Jimmy comes up with this, this cocktail, like, I'm not a shill, but I want to tell you that I really love that song you sang. And I'm thinking, what is this asshole? I'm like, what is so insincere? Anyway, cut to 2 years later or 3 years later, I'm on the set of One Life to Live, already gotten the part of Blair, and he comes in, and that's kind of how it was. It's like, oh yeah, that's that guy.
No, that's I didn't know that, Cassie.
Cassie, were you on Guiding Light when you were performing at the Whaler Bar?
Yes.
I probably was there because I used to go to the Whaler. I used to go to see all of you perform at the Whaler. You just that is a blast. I hadn't heard of that bar in years.
Was it a bar? Was it just like a musical bar, that type of thing?
It was a hotel at Madison and Fifth Avenue.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you, but I used to go. Zimmer performed there.
Wow.
Cassie performed there. Wow.
Yeah, fun.
That's where I'm at.
Kim is asking, Cassie, would you like to go to GH and work with Roger again? Not Blair and Todd.
Well, she's asking, yes, I would like to work. So, are you crazy? Yes.
You ask any actor if they want to work, the answer is always yes.
Yes.
We all love to work.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Laura, did you choose to leave the business and start your coaching business? Or
yes and no. So I went through a difficult divorce, and I had 2 kids. And at that time, soaps closed in New York, and I would have had to go to LA. Had I gone to LA, I would have lost custody of my kids. So it was a difficult decision. I stayed in New York. I raised my kids. I became a coach after 3 to 5 years after that, when everyone was like, what are you going to do with your life? And I was like, I don't know. And they were like, you should coach. So I started training and doing that. But I still did commercial work, and I still do
commercials. I've seen you with your it's a drug medicine.
Yeah, they're all drugs. They're all drugs or banks.
Laura, do you see
wonderful.
Laura, do you see the comment?
Laura, aw, thank you, Mary. I would love to be in soaps now. My kids are grown. They're launched. I could easily go back to soaps. Or or something like that. I'd love to. It'd be great.
That's awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
So looking at, the TV canvas is enormous today because
Sure.
of all the streaming. Is there a show you all watch that you would kill to be on right now?
I'll start. I would kill to be on anything on the Hallmark Channel. I love those movies. I'm such a romantic. They remind me of the soaps. I love them.
I love
I
that.
would love to be in there.
Oh, that's cute.
Love that. Cass?
Anything.
I'm with Kassie too.
Okay.
I
Okay.
love FBI. I love Blacklist. I love it all. I love the procedural stuff. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the soap stuff, but not really. It's actually a little different. So I kind of find that a little intriguing. Procedural.
I just thought of the show You. You know how they're going.
Oh, yeah.
Season. That's a really fun show, and it's very
Fun show. I have to still catch up on season 2, but a great show.
Yeah, I feel like I could be a character, a little supporting character.
Yeah, Penn Badgley could do Kristen Alderson some harm. One of our fans was asking if Star and Todd are returning to General Hospital next month.
I wish. Not that I know of. I'm still in Pennsylvania, so yeah.
Tony says Gina Tognoni, the queen of manifestation.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good.
And Michael says for Laura, did you enjoy the Loon Lake story when Alex tried to drown Kassie?
I remember being so cold in that lake. So cold. That's what I remember about Loon Lake. It was very exciting. I hadn't been very many. Is that me?
It's okay. We can hear you.
Okay, great. So it was fun. It was really fun, but it was my first big on-location job with the soaps, and so it was. I remember just being freezing. That's what I remember. It was so cold in the water.
Wow. And who did you play in Another World? You mentioned it earlier.
So I played a character named Lindsay. I played Lindsay, and I played with Ricky Paul Golden.
Oh my gosh.
And
Ricky's great.
the character was Matt, but I don't remember the actor's name. And then
I think it was Matt as well. Matt Corey.
That's right. And then it was funny because the Alina Karakanides or something like that. She and I both screen tested for Kassie. I got Kassie.
Alina Karakanides, who ended up on Guiding Light. Yeah.
So I got Kassie, and she took over Lindsay.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's funny. Lisa says, "How do these women not age?"
Oh wow.
Clean living. Really good clean living.
Beer.
I remember.
Ashley says, do the ladies remember how amazing Robin was in the scenes when Dorian thought Kassie was hurt or had died, but it ended up being Melinda? Oh. Dorian's screams of panic and fear gave Ashley chills.
Yeah. I just watched that one on YouTube before this. While I was getting ready, I looked up all old Cramer women YouTube videos, and that was on there. And she was so amazing in that. And you two were snarky with each other, of course. and then Laura, you came in and you said, "I'm fine, I'm alive, but it's Melinda." And then Gina, you were amazing, crying over your mom passing, and it was.
She was
I'll send you guys a link to that too.
Send me that link.
Kristen's a YouTuber. We can tell.
Okay.
She is a YouTuber.
More like a historian is what she is, so it's great.
Oh yeah, Gina Allen says, "When Gina left Y&R, I tuned out for the last time."
Oh, there's a plan for you, Gina.
I know, and I got to tell you, so many people have said that, and I take that as such an awesome compliment. But I miss my friends there. so much, and I miss the crew. So I send my love out there, and I'm still in touch, and phone, texting, and I miss them. They were really good people. Really good people. Love the cast.
That's great.
Yeah.
Dwight is asking, Kassie, a Louisville, Kentucky native, can you talk about the Opryland theme park days?
Yes, it was 1980. I was in between my freshman and sophomore year. I performed in the park and sang on Today's Country Roads. And then while I was there, I got to sing on the Grand Ole Opry. So it was really great. I was 18, and I just was, I thought, I can get paid to do this. So that was kind of the start of the professional world.
Amazing. I mean, just knowing that you sang at the Grand Ole Opry, it's like, wow.
I know. It's pretty amazing. I've led a very exciting, fun life, and the soap world has been so important to me because I've met such fabulous people that have touched my life and changed my life and made me a better person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's exactly
Jen says Star was one of my favorite characters on One Life.
Oh, thanks. It was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because I think and she had such a crazy arc too, because she was such a sweet little girl, then a really big brat, and then she matured.
She had such great role models.
Yeah.
One of our fans is asking, how's your brother doing? Can you give us an update?
He's doing so well. Thank God he just got a clean scan this past Monday. So so it's been a couple years now that he's cancer free, and so hopefully, thank God, it continues, and we're just always super grateful for a clean scan. So
100%.
Yeah.
Tony just said Kristen and Kassie absolutely tug my heart when those Star Blair mother-daughter scenes.
Oh, thank you.
Well, you know what we can do, Kristen? We just have to have our own little YouTube channel, and we'll just recreate. I'll be that old decrepit. Come in here, Star.
I don't know what this is, Kristen, but Kim says, do you miss working with the snake?
Yes.
Dogs and everything.
I just talked about the snake literally this week. ago. My friend was saying that he is deathly afraid of snakes. And I said, I'm not, because I got to work with one when I was little. He was a professional snake. I mean, he wasn't venomous. And so it was the snake that Star released in the courtroom with Todd and when I was super young. And so the snake was I was walking around downstairs around the dressing rooms holding this snake. And I loved that. It was so sweet. So now I'm not afraid of snakes. I don't know. I grew up not being afraid because of those scenes. Yeah.
Gina, who was Kelly's loves on? It was
Joey.
Joey was your first love. And
Joey.
And that was Nathan first, and then
Donnie Jeffcoat.
Yep.
Then Tom.
Yeah.
Della. Yes, it's Irish.
Yeah.
The sweetest guy ever, and I'm probably not saying his last name right. Declan, possibly. We had 3 major Joeys. Max, she had a little rendezvous with, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Working with Jimmy. I don't know what it was about Jimmy. By the way, tell Jimmy I say hello. I don't know where he is, but he's got to be there.
Right? Somewhere. Tell him we all say hello.
Yes. Jimmy would bring out such a silly side of me, and Kassie was great. She'd always just egg us on. And David Vickers, but my loves, I have to say, were always the Joeys. They casted such good ones. Yeah.
I'm going to try to get Donnie in the locker room soon. He needs, the reason we haven't is he needs to get his baby to sleep. He told me.
He had a baby, which I've been following him on Facebook. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. I'm so beautiful.
I know.
Jacarius is.
I'm sorry, Kassie, you were with Kevin at one point, right? Was it? Yes, you, Kassie.
Oh yeah, she was with Kevin
Kevin Stapleton that played it, or was it the
Tim Gibbs? Was it Tim?
He was with Kevin Stapleton, right?
I was with both of them. Both of them.
That's what I thought.
Both were great. Both were great.
What do you remember about both?
I love Kevin Stapleton, and I still keep in touch. I loved working with him. He and I had so much fun, and he was really spontaneous on set. And Tim Gibbs, I just remember the worst part about Tim Gibbs was I knew him from the Waltons. You know, like I remember him when he was little.
He was on the Waltons? I didn't realize.
He was the little one. So that was kind of like, you know, yeah. But he was great. It was great to work with. He was really attractive and.
Yeah, tough jobs you have to look into
those soap boys are all good looking.
They're all good looking.
Well, you married one. What was it like working opposite Jimmy?
Jimmy. You know what? I love being married to him. I loved working with him, but I just don't think husband and wife should work together.
But I love him anyway. I love him anyway.
I mean, he directed. I know you directed you, Gina, and you, Kristen.
Yeah, wonderful director.
Yeah, he was a great director.
Very smart.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's funny. Kassie and Gina, one of our fans was asking, Jacarius was asking, what was it like to work with Laura Wright?
Laura Wright on Guiding Light.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she is a force. She always has been, always will be. I just remember her energy. Her energy was very expansive in a good way, very bright. You knew when she was in the room. I enjoyed working with her because she connected. She really connected very easily. And she's such a pretty woman, So I remember us all working our butts off on Guiding Light. We worked a lot together. So very good memories.
And Cass, did you work with her at General Hospital?
Only at General Hospital. And she, just as Gina said, she is a force, such a talent, and very, very generous. And, you know, really just a true natural actor.
Mm-hmm. And she's a very, a big.
I like her as a person. Too.
Right, exactly. She's great to have a drink with. She's great.
She's good peeps. She's good.
Yeah, she's good peeps. Yep.
She's like you guys. Kristen, talk about your men on the show. You were talking about Cole earlier.
Oh yeah. So talk about so Brandon Buddy played Cole, and I dated him in real life. And then Connor Callow played Travis when I was like 13, and I had my first kiss on the show. I dated him in real life. And then
there's a third one.
Well, okay, Nick Rowe, but I didn't date him in real life. He was married, so that and then I went to General Hospital, worked with Chad, and dated him in real life. So like soap boys, like you said.
That is great. What is it like having your first kiss on television?
Oh my gosh, that day was so exciting. It was on location in Central Park. So that was incredibly exciting. It was on a bridge, Bow Bridge, like the famous Bow Bridge in Central Park. And it was my first kiss in real life. And it wasn't his. He was too cool for school. But so it was the fastest kiss you've ever seen in your life. But it was so cold. And Larry was directing, who was like an uncle to me. And all the crew there were, you know, they've watched me grow up. So all of them were going, but it was very, very exciting, very cute. Yeah.
One of our fans, Ron, said these women have such great chemistry and obvious affection for each other. And you can certainly see that. You can certainly see that. Is there anyone who you wanted to work with in Landview that you didn't get the chance to?
I always wanted to work more with Bob Woods. He just is one of the funniest men, that I had ever worked with, and I always just craved to be around him. Such great energy. Everyone loved him. Don't you guys? I mean, he just
the best.
I mean, Laura must have cracked up all the time. Laura, you must have laughed.
Oh, Laura, yeah.
He was.
And you know who else was a lot of fun? Bob Cramer.
Wortham Cramer.
Wortham.
Yeah.
Cramer. Yeah, he was
I
a good.
loved working with him. I was so lucky to be able to work with him.
You were. He was very generous. Now he became.
You married him. He was a reverend.
Yeah, we worked opposite for like 7 years.
Wow.
I know.
Long time we worked together.
Yeah, you guys were buds.
You had good story too.
We had great story.
You had Sloan, and you had family at that time, which was really good.
I loved working with him. That actor. I poured a lot of tea also. While the Reverend was listening to everybody else's issues,
Right.
poured a lot of tea.
Hilarious. You're absolutely right.
I poured many, many cups of tea as the Reverend's wife. But working with Bob was fabulous. I was very fortunate. He was good looking. He was professional. He was talented. He cared. He was giving.
He's fun. He's good friends with Jimmy. They still keep.
Send love.
Laura.
Ladies, I could talk to you for 3 hours. You ladies are a delight. Thank you for being here. The fans, like I said, have been asking for the Cramer women forever. Maybe one day we can finally technically get Robin and do it again.
Yes, definitely.
Kristen will have to, wrangle the computer and help her out. But
I will.
Stay safe, everybody. Thank you so much for being here.
God bless you all.
God bless.
Seeing you all.
Yay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Remember, if your questions weren't answered during the Q&A today, and if you want to chat more personally with my guests today, get an autograph or video greeting, you can visit soapconlive.com to purchase them. Thank you to Laura, Kristen, Gina, and Kassie, the Cramer women, for joining us. Stay tuned for the General Hospital panel at SoapCon Live right here in the locker room at 7 p.m. Eastern with Lucretia Lyon, and thank you for watching.
COVID-19 has been a real bitch to all the actors and the arts out there in general. And so for this year, it's been awesome. I've had a real uptick in some of the biggest roles that I've ever had, and most important roles, really.
Can you share what those roles might be?
I've had to sign non-disclosure agreements for both series, but one series is for Disney Plus. And so I'm working on that. And one series, I'll give a hint, is in its final season. I'm very, very proud of the work that I've been able to do in the last few years, stepping outside of daytime. Obviously, daytime has been a huge part of my career. It was the very beginning. It was the foundation. I started when I was 17 years old. I'm 42. It was only a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. But you really have to, no matter what, job you're in, and you're starting a whole new medium or a whole other career, it takes time. The whole thing takes time. You have to evaluate, you have to restructure your team, you have to know, what kind of projects you want to go after. And I realized at that point, there was specific blinders of the kind of projects that I wanted, and it was TV, but it was primetime TV. And so it's taken time to, I don't want to say convince, but actually make the rounds to the casting directors, let them see me again, get familiar with me again, see me outside of daytime television. And, because, daytime is such a great storytelling medium. It's, there's a new play that's every single day, Monday through Friday. And it's great. It's a great way to hone your skills, keep your skills, start off as an actor. It's been an absolute blessing to me. I mean, I had 7 nominations while I was doing it. I've always enjoyed the challenge, 60 pages a day sometimes. It's amazing. It's an amazing medium.
Hi, I'm Candace Mack of JLJ Media's audio soap Forever and a Day, Take 2 Radio, and Soap Party 411. Here are some reasons why I love this genre. Name another genre that's been around for 90 years. I'll wait. It's gone from radio to television to digital back to audio. By the way, all you fandoms out there, yes, I'm talking to DC, Marvel, and Star Wars fans, you're welcome, because soaps provided some of the greatest characters from there that's gone on to the fandom. Just saying. It's also a genre that made us believe in true love. After surviving cloning, time traveling, saving the world, vampires, don't forget about being buried alive. Did I mention cloning too? It's also a genre that's always been there through the good, the bad, and the WTF moments. It's always there, just like family.
But felt the need to definitely break outside, at least for the time being. And, who knows? Anything's possible down the road. But right now, I'm feeling good about where I'm at. I'm just glad that I was able to do daytime as long as I have.
Yeah, because there's no better training ground as an actor to get into the boot camp of acting. I think it was Wally Kurth that called it, they're the blue collar workers of the industry because you are in the grind, and that training can take you to places. I mean, you look at, the late Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan, they were on All My Children around the same time you were, and they decided to take that leap just like you have, and it's so great to see people, and you see that training in it, because you can't do that daily grind without that training from All My Children or General Hospital. And it's just so great to see, because a lot of these actors you may recognize from your favorite movies, but if they're, say, Australian or British, they were on soaps there. It's not just the American soaps, guys. All these people are getting training. Canada has their own soaps too. All those CW superheroes, they were on those. They were on Heartland.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Amanda Kimmel.
And I'm Shannon Coach.
And we're the hosts of Pier 54, a General Hospital fan podcast.
Each week, we release 2 new episodes. On Mondays, we recap last week's episodes of GH, and on Thursdays, we do the Port Charles 411, where we dig deep into different subjects like characters, storylines, chat with other fans, and even cast members.
You can find us on most major platforms, including iTunes, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and many more. Or you can check out our website at pier54podcast.com.
You can also find us on most social media channels. Just look for Pier 54, a General Hospital fan podcast.
We look forward to you joining us every week.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
No, it's so true. I mean, and a lot of people don't realize even nighttime serials are soap operas. It's they're shot in a studio. They're shot on multiple cameras. It just happens to have a slightly different feel. And a little bit more money behind it each episode, obviously. So but it is, if the storyline is the story is a story. It still plays the same way. It's got a cliffhanger. You got to wait till the next episode. But we're just pumping out 5 times a week, maybe even up to 8-9 episodes in a week. The fact that it even still can be as good as it is it's kudos to all the actors. Because everybody's out there just grinding. It's a grind. That's one thing I have a lot of respect for is the writers. They were able to push out that much material. Soaps keep living, they keep going, and they just continue to keep growing. There's the fan base. It's funny, you watch when one show has gone off the air, the fan base goes over to this other show. Like stuff that, like people, they're like, well, I used to watch that one, but when it went off the air and you went over to this show, I moved over to this show. And so it's nice because it's still that same family, and and people, they just they want to be told that daily story. And again, I'm just glad that I've been a part of it for so many years.
Watch The Doctors is Moving, and you're gonna love the new location. Download It's Real Good TV to join your friends from Hope Memorial. Available online and all your devices. Already a Doctors subscriber? Then there's an email headed your way with a coupon code for free access, plus special bonuses for starting your new account on It's Real Good TV. Haven't gotten your email? Don't worry, you will soon. For details, visit itsrealgoodtv.com.
I've been consistent within the top 20 for TV and film on Apple for my podcast, Real Conversations with Jacob Young. And it's just been great. It's been fantastic. It's been such a whole new sort of wheelhouse for me to get into. And I'm really thankful for the people that have been a part of the podcast. Because yes, of course, Eva was on the podcast, LaRue, she was on here, Cameron Matheson. I've done some of the soap folks and a little bit of everything, musicians, country music stars. And we're just kind of hitting the tip of the iceberg. There's so many more to go. And as the ratings and the downloads just keep popping in, I'm starting to get bigger and bigger people, or just, variety. Because that's the whole thing. I don't want to be focused on one thing. I want it to be a little bit of everything. I want to touch, because, people that might not know me from soaps, they might find me on a podcast and go, who the hell is this guy? And because I'm talking to an NFL star. Somebody who's made a career in NFL or NHL or Major League Baseball. So I kind of want to touch a little bit of everything and give everybody the opportunity. It is a mental health podcast. I ask some of the hard questions, lifting the veil off of the shame of mental health. I know I've dealt with my own battle of mental health for years, and it's kind of interesting, especially with COVID, just how many people have become more open. I think COVID's been a blessing in a lot of ways, because people have been home and had a lot of time to think about their lives and evaluating, gosh, I miss, just going out to a baseball game or going out to visit my friends. Regardless, there's lots of great advice. And on the other side of the podcast, of course, I have the manager of the Boys Town National Hotline, Chris Hallstrom. She gets on afterwards. So it's a second part. It's part 1, part 2 of every episode. And we talk about some of the good points. And Boys Town, which has been around since the Great Depression. Boys Town was an Oscar award-winning movie with Spencer Tracy and Mickey Rooney. It's all about Father Flanagan, who Spencer Tracy portrays. And during the Great Depression, a lot of these boys were sent out to go fend for themselves. They were 7, 8, 9 years old. But if they were lucky enough to find Father Flanagan, he took them in. And he took him in, and they've been going ever since. They've been saving children, boys and girls, for over 100 years. Amazing. And so that was how this particular podcast came about. So I'm so proud to be a part of Boys Town, and Boys Town a part of me. It's not only part of me, as far as being a foster kid at one point in my life, but able to hopefully save a life. Coming to, this in a couple weeks, I have Adam Jacobs, who was Aladdin on Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
In The Lion King. He was Aladdin on Broadway. So he's going to be on the show in the next couple weeks. Yeah, it's Real Conversations with Jacob Young. And it's anywhere and everywhere you can download or find a podcast, whatever source, Google Play, or whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcast, or absolutely everywhere. And eventually I'm going to release the unedited videos to YouTube. So it's only been an audio podcast, but I have all the videos as well. So eventually I'll be releasing all of those on YouTube, of course, with the permission of all of my guests. But there's some fun moments that, of course, that are not on this podcast.
The future of television is here, and it's Real Good TV. Download the It's Real Good TV app now on Roku, Apple, and Android devices, or stream online at itsrealgoodtv.com. And get instant access to hundreds of shows from 5 different networks. That's right, all of your favorite shows in one place. Free to download, free to watch. Watch on demand or stream one of our live TV networks in real time. Start watching today because it's Real Good TV.
Well, thank you so much for doing this, Jacob. And thank you so much for being a part of SoapCon Live. When can they meet you?
Well, so I guess May 9th is the day, right? Is it Mother's Day?
Yes.
Yeah. So Mother's Day, May 9th. Everybody, who's interested, come one, come all, come hang out with me. Looking forward to meeting everybody or seeing familiar faces that I've met over the years. And of course, we've got autographs that are going to be available, right? And we got some video greetings that we can do.
Yeah, so it's those 3 things. You can meet Jacob on Mother's Day. That's May 9th. We have autographs with Jacob as well as video greetings. And if you guys get those video greetings in by May 7th, you can use promo code Mother's Day to send that greeting to your mother on Mother's Day.
Oh, well, we all like savings, don't we? And it's worth it because you're going to be hanging out with me.
Of course.
Thank you so much for having me on. And I'm looking forward again, everybody, come out, meet us.